Hey guys, it's Broken Angel, and today we're playing Chilling Devotion. I haven't done a visual novel in a while, and this one looked pretty good. So let's get started. I've got my glass of water so I don't choke and die while trying to read. So let's go. Day 1, Unexpected Guest. The car's engine purred softly as it glided along the snow-covered road, creating a rhythmic hum that harmonized with the tranquility of the winter landscape. The world outside seemed hushed and still, as if nature itself had been silenced by a blanket of pristine snow. It's so pretty. Through the windshield, the scene unfolded like a postcard come to life. The snow-laden trees stood tall, their branches delicately adorned with glistening crystals. Each limb reached towards the sky as if yearning to touch the falling snowflakes. The weight of the snow bent some branches, creating graceful arches that framed the road ahead. As the car made its way through the winter wonderland, the snowscape seemed to stretch out infinitely in every direction. The vastness of the scenery was both awe-inspiring and humbling. You continue to look around in wonder from the warmth and comfort of your vehicle. For you, this is a whole new experience coming from a busy city life. The Little Cub Cabin Retreat. It was advertised as the coziest escape in the heart of the snowy mountain wilderness. Unplug and experience tranquility and the unforgettable views of snow-capped peaks and towering pine trees right outside your window. It sounded like exactly what you needed at the time, and you immediately booked a cabin for one, just for a week. You look down at the directions you downloaded again. Turn onto Little Cub Trail and it's the first cabin on the left. You slow the car as you approach a sign. Some of the letters of Little Club peek out from under the snow. You turn into the trail and your car bumps along the unpaved snowy dirt path. You look around attentively for the first cabin you see through the increasing snowfall. The wind suddenly starts whipping the snow around with fervor, and the road ahead of you quickly disappears. You feel a pang in your chest at the sight and your breath quickens. Your eyes begin darting between the trees looking for this damn cabin. So much for the forecast of light snow today. Hopefully, you get there soon in case the snow gets worse. Finally, you had been looking forward to this getaway for a couple of weeks, and there it is. You take some time to fully take in the exterior from the safety of your car. Now, the idea of a private snowy cabin makes you lonely, relaxed, nervous, excited, unsure. I'd say excited. That'd make me excited. You're excited. You've been looking forward to this ever since you've booked it. Everything is so new and fascinating, and you've mentally planned out various activities you could do. From staying by the fire with a good book or hiking to see some of these snow-capped peaks, there would be something for whatever mood you'd be in. Nah, I'd just stay in there with my hot chocolate and coffee and whatever else and just read and watch movies. That would be great. And then maybe come outside and make a snowman. Maybe just catching up on sleep and resting would be enough to look forward to. Oh my god, yes, that too. You squint through the falling snow trying to make out the numbers on the cabin. The snow is really starting to come down quickly and you feel an urgency to get indoors. Snow had covered the sign, but this one looked like the picture in the booking, so you pulled onto the snow-covered path. You feel a wave of relief to finally have arrived. The drive up the mountain was like Rainbow Road, and the snow, while beautiful, made for an even more challenging drive. Your little cabin is surrounded by trees and there are no neighbors in sight. A large stretch of wilderness ensures you plenty of privacy. You hurried hurriedly lug your stuff out of your car up to the cabin. It's not much, just a suitcase for the week. Looking at the snow, maybe you should have packed even thicker winter clothes. The icy environment chills the delicate skin on your face. You bound up to the cabin, eager to get out of the cold. It's already unlocked. Is this normal for remote cabins? As you step inside, the warmth of being out of the elements immediately greets you, but it could certainly be warmer. You set down your things by the door and quickly set about lighting a fire in the fireplace. Conveniently, there's some wood and a lighter by the hearth. You take in the cabin's interior and it's as cozy as described, if not a bit more messy than expected. Did they not clean up the place? There's stuff still laid out on the table. Looks like the place hasn't been swept in a while too. It has a lived-in feel and is ready for someone to move in. The warm glow from the hearth dancing across the rustic wooden walls and furniture was cozy and inviting. Some books are resting on the worn wooden table and shelves. You hurry over to inspect the tiny kitchenette and you are pleasantly surprised that it is fully stocked. Wow, it looks like mystery meat and a lot of junk food. Still, that's pretty generous of the people running this place. You had expected to get food later in town when the snow let up. I think you done fucked up. There's someone living in here. I don't know why I made that voice. It's a bit of a drive, but there is a small town with a grocery store around here. You can look more closely around the rest of the cabin later. Right now, you just wanted a warm drink. Coffee. You look in the kitchen's drawers and find a couple of options to choose from. All of them are of the instant drink variety, but beggars can't be choosers. What do you want to drink? Coffee. You grab a packet of instant coffee, then you find a pot and start to heat some water on the gas stove. It's been a while since you've used one of these. You check your phone and there's no signal. You do spot a landline on the countertop if you need to call anyone. Been a while since you've seen one of those too. Another reminder of how far from civilization you are. That's very strong wind. The pot of water simmers on the stove and you pour some into a cup for your coffee. The smell of coffee fills the room and the warmth from the cup warms your frozen hands. The window rattles suddenly and you jump from your thoughts. The snowing from earlier has really picked up into a storm now, the heavy fall of snow blurring the landscape out the window. The wind howls and rattles the windows again. The sharp, erratic bursts made you flinch every time. Snow now slams against the cabin in chaotic flurries. You wonder if the windows would hold against the storm's fury. That's a bit concerning, but it's a perfect contrast to the safety of the cabin. The cabin was a small sanctuary that was holding back the icy wilderness beyond its walls. Luckily, you have food here and made it before the weather took a turn for the worse. Snowed in or not, you were planning on bunkering down here initially anyway. Just as you started settling in near the hearth with your hot drink, there was knocking at the door. You snap your head towards the sound and you feel your heart racing with fear. You weren't expecting anyone, and the thought of a stranger out here in the middle of nowhere during a snowstorm sent a shiver down your spine. But maybe it was the cabin host, or someone that needed help. You set down your drink on the table gently and look toward the door. What will you do now? Who is it? You try to calm your nerves while you wait for an answer. And an answer doesn't come. Open the door. You take a deep breath and make your way to the door, steering yourself for whoever's on the other side. Hi? When you open the door, you were greeted by a tall figure wearing a mask, their expression hidden. Your breath catches in your throat at the looming sight, fear threatening to overwhelm you. A biting and cold wind rushes in from the cracked open door. The unknown visitor is bundled in thick clothes and covered in snow. The huffs of their breath still show through their mask. Hi, can I help you? The figure says nothing, the silence somehow chilling the air further. You reflexively take a step back and grip the door's handle, ready to slam the door shut and lock it. The stranger seems to notice this and slams his hand on the door, preventing you from closing it. At the sudden movement, you freeze, attack, run, freeze. Your fear takes over and you feel your body tense up like a statue. Your eyes widen, looking up at the stranger, and even your breath stops in your chest. To your horror, the stranger reaches over to grip your arm, which is still holding the door. You are still too shocked to do anything. His hands are strong but not painful, and they anchor you firmly in place in front of him. His face is unreadable, neither angry or amused, just unreadable. The storm outside howls louder, as if taunting you in this situation. What do you do now? Please let me go. The stranger's grip on your arm tightens. I'm afraid I can't do that. A chill runs through you as you hear that low, cold, and menacing voice. There's a slight southern drawl to it. His words hang heavy in the air, mingling with your laboured breaths and the roar of the winds. Just as you're starting to feel lightheaded, the stranger adds matter-of-factly. Especially not in this weather, there's a snowstorm. You won't survive out there alone. You won't even make it 5 minutes in the storm by the looks of you. Huh? He suddenly lets go of you. The action is so sudden that you stumble back into the cabin's interior and the stranger takes a step in. The stranger's masked face remains unreadable as they shut the door behind them, sealing you both inside. The stranger pulls down his mask to reveal his face. He begins dusting off the snow from his clothes and goes to hang up his overcoat by the door naturally. I'm Jim. This is my place. You stare speechlessly at this casual statement as if he's not aware of the scare he just gave you. What's your name? Tell him your name? Angel. Angel. There's an awkward beat before he gestures for you to take a seat by the fireplace. Sit down. You stiffly follow his suggestion and sit down in a chair with a creak. He takes off his hat and dusts off the snow before following you and taking a seat as well. You are both sitting by the hearth now after your misunderstanding. You feel a mixture of adrenaline and embarrassment. I'm real sorry about before. You really scared me. He looks down even more guiltily. I've been told I have that effect on people sometimes. You are taken aback by the contrast of the man in front of you and your first impression of him. Besides that, you are still confused about how all of this happened. Jim thinks for a moment and speaks more quietly because of self-consciousness and about how his voice sounds. His voice still comes out as a low rumble. Were you trying to go to that tiny bear house? You mean the little cub cabin? Then yes. Right, you went way too far down the trail then. Probably missed it with all the snow and pines. Easy to happen when the snow gets like this. Your face burned with embarrassment at your mistake and the whole misunderstanding. So much for a relaxing getaway. That makes sense. An awkward silence stretches between you two until Jim speaks up again. I think the storm will pass in a couple of days. You can stay here until then. A couple of days? You sit there and process what's happened. thank you so much. Jim nods, a small smile tugging at the corner of his lips. As if you have a choice, but now you feel even more grateful after inconveniencing your cabin neighbour. At least he seemed to be nonchalant about the whole situation. It can get lonely out here sometimes. Haven't had company in a long time. You nod back, feeling a bit more at ease now that you know he's not some deranged stranger. If anything, you were the stranger in his house now, and yet he is being so welcoming. Jim moves to stand up and starts gesturing around the room. So the bathroom is in the corner there. Oh, and feel free to put your things in the spare room over there on your right. My room's the one to your left by the front door. It's not much, but you're safe here. Jim points to the pot on the stove next. I'll have some hot cocoa too after all that. Want your coffee reheated since you've helped yourself to some already? You groan at any reminders of your unfortunate beginnings here. Sure, thanks. Jim gives you a curt nod and grabs your cup. Things are still pretty awkward, but it was kind of sweet that he was trying to be a good host. How about you check your room while I reheat the drinks? Wait, you better not put anything in my drink, I swear to God. You nod and grab your luggage to take to your room. The room is small, but just as cozy as the rest of the cabin. Simple with its furnishings, but it's all you need. It's minimally decorated like the rest of his cabin, but it has a bed and a nightstand and a lamp. And now it has your suitcase and belongings in a corner. You sit down on the bed with a creak. The bed feels impossibly soft beneath you, urging your tense muscles from earlier to uncoil. You let out a long breath and your hand traces absent-mindedly over the quilted blanket. Its fabric is warm but comforting. What a situation. You hear the muffled clattering of Jim in the kitchen and snow battering against the walls. This was not what you had exceeded at all, and you wonder how it'll all go. Your coffee is ready. Jim's voice from the other room pulls you from your thoughts and you get up to join him. You sit across from Jim as he hands you a reheated coffee. Jim cradles his own mug in his hands, savouring its warmth before taking little sips. His posture is more relaxed, but still seems a bit shy. You get a better look at him now that things are less intense. His pale hair is damp and disheveled from the snowstorm, and he keeps it pretty long. His eyes flick to you occasionally before glancing back down at his drink. Sorry, I'm not used to having company, I guess. Yeah, me neither. What do you do? Ask him some questions, I guess. So, what were you doing outside just now? Just checking some traps I set up in the woods nearby. Traps? Traps for small game, like rabbits and such, mostly. Rude. Nothing in the traps today, probably all hiding from the storm. Oh, I see. That would explain the mystery game meat in the fridge earlier. So, do you live out here all the time? He glances at you and then answers while looking into the fire. Used to be, not all of the time, just when I needed to get away. But now, yeah, this is where I live. His voice is steady, but there's something vulnerable in his tone, like he's not used to explaining himself. Get away from what? He seems to hesitate, maybe from trying to find the right words before settling on what to say. Everything. The noise, the people, it's just too much. I completely understand. I understand, me too. You nod, feeling a strange sense of understanding. I get it. It's why I wanted to come out here too. Just needed a break from it all. I wish I could be away all the time, but I have responsibilities. Jim's lips twitched into a faint smile, and for the first time since talking, his gaze holds yours for a while. And instead you end up in the wrong cabin. Laugh. Your cheeks warm as you let out a soft laugh. Yeah, not exactly the peaceful getaway I had in mind. You're surprised by the rich depth of his chuckle despite how he tried to quiet it. It sends a pleasant warmth through you. Well, I guess it's not every day you accidentally break into someone else's house. The initial tension between you is melted away as you both laugh about it. I hope you do get what you came here for. You can't help but smile at his gentle words. So, the storm seems pretty rough. Yeah, but it should calm down in a day or two. And if you want, I can make sure you get to the right cabin then. The mountain weather can be unpredictable. One moment it's clear, then dangerous in an instant. It's snowing a bit early this year, but it's not uncommon. The snow falls hard, and the wind, well, it howls like it's got something to prove. You nod along at his explanation. You weren't aware of how it was in the mountains. He lets out a soft sigh before continuing, running a hand through his messy hair. I knew the second I saw you that you were not used to this. If you don't know what you're doing and you try to go out there, well, you're pretty much asking for trouble then. You notice a shift in his tone when talking about the storm. There's something protective about it. Like he's trying to prepare you or maybe even shield you from the wildness of the mountain. Just wait it out. Don't venture out if you don't have to. The storm outside wails a bit louder for a moment as if protesting, and Jim shifts his gaze out the window. I've been stuck in here before. You just get used to it, and then it's not so bad. You take in his words. You get the impression that he's used to navigating the chaos of the mountain, and with him, maybe you could. You said you don't see many people around here? Yeah, to be honest, you're the first person I've really talked to in a couple of months. Other than when I'm picking up supplies in town. He awkwardly shifts in his seat and rubs the back of his neck like he's unsure of how to continue. I guess you could probably tell with how out of practice I am with all this social stuff. He gives a dry laugh, but it's not exactly a happy one. The isolation, it's easier this way. I've never minded being by myself. It's peaceful. I don't generally like people, but it's been nice talking with you. This admission lingers in the air as you both take it in. You're touched by his openness and vulnerability in this moment. Well, I'm glad I could be the one you talk to. Jim smiles at this and takes another shy sip from his mug. A moment of warmth settles between the both of you and you feel a bit closer. So, what do you do out here? I like to be in nature and be alone. Yeah? Like hiking? I hunt and fish when the weather's better. Sometimes I make stuff. There's a town a ways from here, but I mostly just keep to myself. His eyes dart nervously around and you get the impression that he's not used to talking about himself like this. You decide not to get into it for now, for his sake, but you are curious. He seems like the type to say things when he's ready. So, you're done asking questions for now. You both finish up the rest of your drinks in silence. Jim looks at you and finally asks you a question himself. So, how are you feeling about being stuck here? He quickly looks away again while anticipating your answer. He has a complicated look on his face. You wonder why that is. He is a hard man to read. You like it here so far but look forward to leaving. You can't wait to leave and get away from this guy. You would like to stay here longer. You don't want to say anything for now. Would like to stay here for longer. I actually really like it here. I could see myself spending my whole stay here, honestly. It's been nice having you as company. I'll be honest too, I've been liking your company as well. What I'm trying to say is, you could stay here longer, if you want. As in, he's gonna kill me and bury me and then I'm gonna have to stay there forever, right? But you don't gotta decide now, and maybe your feelings will change. Although, I'm happy you feel that way right now. You smile at his flustered but sincere response. You guess you'll have to see how things go. Jim looks back into the flickering embers of the fire and seems to be weighing your response in his head. You wonder what he's thinking, but can't bring yourself to interrupt his thoughts. You ultimately look into the fire too. The dancing flames lull you into a trance as your mind wanders. The time flows as the sun disappears from the sky and you are both left with a dying fire. At some point you find yourself watching him. His features are softer in the firelight, warmer too than before. He looks much more friendly now that he's taken off his outerwear and is relaxing in his more casual outfit. He doesn't seem to talk much, but his voice carries a quiet intensity, like every word matters. He glances at you and catches you staring. You quickly look down at your empty mug, feeling the heat rise in your face from being caught. He doesn't say anything at first, but now you feel him observing you back. What? Let's say nothing. You reply quickly, a little too quickly, and Jim notices. He chuckles and the sound of it sends a shiver through you, one that has nothing to do with the storm outside. You sure about that? Your chest tightens in a funny way at his teasing tone, his voice warmer now, the shyness from before fading ever so slightly. Yeah. His gaze lingers on you for a moment, but then he smiles and looks away. Seems like he'll let it go this time. Then, Jim looks into his empty mug, now cold. Well, I think I'll call it a night. Jim gets up and holds out a hand to take my empty cup from you two, trying to be a gracious host to you. Oh, how nice. You give him your cup too, and his lips curve into a small smile. He walks to the kitchen and places both your mugs in the tiny sink, with a clink. Then Jim goes over to the hearth and puts out the rest of the fire before heading to his room. You get up and walk over to your room. You peer out to Jim, closing the door to your room. Jim lingers by his door and glances back at you. Okay, well, good night, Angel. Oh, can I stay in your room? That's a bit forward. Jesus, man. You've known him for like, what? Couple hours? Do I say thank you? Good night, Jim. You say your good nights and go to your respective rooms. Your door creaks as you close it all the way, and you turn towards what will be your room for the next couple of days. That was much nicer than how your first meeting started. You are getting to know Jim a lot more and you both are getting along. Your unexpected host is turning out to be a pleasant surprise. You change into your sleeping clothes and jump under the covers for warmth. The storm is still raging outside as much as it was earlier. You start to relax and soon the storm outside starts to sound like white noise. The events of the day are taking their toll on you. Before you arrived, you were feeling excited. Now, after everything that has happened, you feel grateful? You're grateful for this cabin and Jim's hospitality so far. Things could have gone a lot worse, all things considered. As you think about how you feel, you drift off to sleep wondering what the rest of the week has in store for you. The darkness takes you and you dream of being deep in the mountains. The air is vicious, thick with the scent of old blood. Oh. From the abyss, a pair of gold moon-like eyes glow from a towering figure. The shadow moves, too fluid, too silent, just beyond your grasp. The trees scream, the ground heaves, and then a sound, low, guttural, laughing. Its voice is not sound, but vibration, the hum of a wasp's nest, the groan of a noose tightening. You are such a delicate thing, a rabbit on my altar. You are the perfect sacrifice. Your breath comes fast, not with fear, but rapture. You seem to recognize something. To be known is to press your rotting heart against something equally ruined. See how much we match? You barely even notice when the gnarled roots from below wrap around your leg lovingly. The forest, it screams to you. The one who dreams the wolves. And then the darkness reaches for you. The voice calls to you once more. I'll let the whelp you have. No whelp have you. Just for a little while. That was weird. Day 2, the carving. You are marked now, the storm listens, the trees remember. You wake up with a gasp, the remnants of the dream clinging to you like frost. Moonlit eyes burned into yours from the shadows of the pines, something that knew your name with a voice like cracking ice. Unconsciously, your fingers buried in the quilt, your pulse hammering like a trapped thing. Morning light seeps through the frosted windows. You wake to the sound of the gas stove clicking on and the flash of the flames. Jim is awake, moving through the cabin with the creak of the floorboards under his careful steps. The bedroom door squeaks as you step out. Jim keeps his back to you, fingers fumbling with the coffee tin like it's the most fascinating thing in the world. Ah, you're finally awake. You sit down at the table. Jim sets a chipped mug on the table and joins you. Steam curls from it, ghostly in the cold air. He doesn't speak. The silence stretches, taut as a tripwire. Angel, it's for you. Jim pushes the mug towards you, an offering. His eyes dart around the room, a nervous habit you're beginning to recognize. Take the mug. The drink inside is coffee, hot and fragrant. Fragrant? Sorry. Exactly as you like it. The scent wraps around you, warm and familiar. You hadn't realized how thirsty you were until now. Yeah, you do sound thirsty, don't you? Considering you wanted to stay in his room. Jim watches you intently. Drink? Why do I feel very sus about this? You take a sip from the mug, and it's good. Really good. You drink a big gulp before you even realize it. Jim's shoulders unclench just a fraction. I'm glad you like it. Jim's posture softens. He watches you with something like gratitude, his fingers tapping an absent rhythm against the table. The steam from your mug curls between you like a disorientating fog. Jim watches, not the drink, not your hands, but the space where your lips will meet the rim. The silence stretches, charged with something unspoken. The warmth of your drink spreads through your chest, familiar and comforting. Is it good? How's the temperature? It's perfect. With pride barely hidden, a flicker of satisfaction crosses his face. He leans back in his chair, fingers drumming once against the table. I remembered how you take it. Before you know it, you've drunk it all. Jim holds out his hand to take your mug and you oblige. Then he busies himself with taking your mugs to the sink, but you catch the way his thumb rubs over the spot your lips just touched. You must be hungry. I'll make you some food to go with your drink. He crouches down and pulls out a cooler from under the sink. You think you hear the click of a lock, but you can't see past Jim's form. He places some ingredients on the counter: flour, potatoes, onion, eggs, and toast. It's not too fancy, but it'll do. Jim moves with quiet efficiency at the stove as he layers ingredients into a cast iron pan. Go to help? You step beside him, reaching for a knife to chop vegetables. Jim's hand catches yours, not to stop you, just to guide your grip. Ooh, okay. Knife's sharper than it looks. Here. He adjusts your fingers, his palm warm against yours. Smaller cuts, they'll cook even. You work in comfortable silence, shoulders brushing occasionally. When the meal is ready, he plates it carefully, nudging the best portions toward your side. His boot knocks lightly against yours under the table, a tiny grounding touch. We make a good team. The food is simple but perfect. Fluffy eggs, crispy potatoes, pancakes, toast slathered in some kind of jam. Jim left the jar of preserves open on the table for you, wafting a sweet scent to you in case you wanted more. Your stomach grumbles loudly at the sight and smell. Good, you have an appetite. Go on and dig in. He doesn't eat until you do. His gaze never leaves your face. Jim watches you take the first bite, his fingers drumming the table until you nod approval. The pancakes are just sweet enough. The preserves, taste like blackberries and something darker. Iron? No, just your imagination. Are you saying there's blood in there? The food is delicious but leaves you oddly drowsy. Oh no. I knew it was going to come at some point, whether it was the drinks or... I wasn't thinking the food. You got me on that one. He smiles, watching you eat and noting how you feel from the look on your face. Good food will make you sleepy, huh? His voice is light, but his fingers quickly tap the table twice like he's counting. Halfway through, he pushes his mug toward you. Try this. Before you realize it, you take a sip of his spiced tea and it's just sweet enough. When you hand it back, his thumb brushes the place your lips touched. You're starting to be a little bit creepy. Both of you finish up quickly and Jim takes your plates to the sink. As he's washing up, Jim hums. The tune is unfamiliar, oddly rhythmic. You've never heard it before. Almost like a lullaby or a chant. When Jim notices your attention, he stops abruptly and turns away. It's just a song from my childhood. Jim pauses at the sink, looking out the window. The storm still rages, but he has a serene look on his face. Could get used to this. The fireplace crackles as Jim moves to kneel by the hearth, rearranging logs with unnecessary focus. His sleeves are rolled up slightly as he works. Pale scars peek beneath the fabric. When he notices you watching, he smiles, but his fingers twitch like he's counting something under his breath. Not much to do indoors, I'm afraid. Never really had guests before. Just me and the quiet. The firelight catches the edges of the wolf carvings on the mantel. I've got books and a puzzle, if you'd like. Could make do? Puzzle sounds nice. Do you have any novels? I'd rather just talk. We could do a puzzle together. Jim produces a dusty puzzle box from a cabinet and directs you to the table. The pieces are worn, the image on the box faded, a snow-laden forest, the trees too familiar, the shadows between them too deep. Found this in the cellar, might be missing a few pieces. Well, that's not great. He spreads the pieces across the table, then settles beside you. Close, but not quite touching. The puzzle is old with some edges frayed, others darkened with age or something else. At first it's easy. Border pieces first, then the cabin emerges. Crooked chimney, claw marks on the door. As fire crackles, the puzzle takes shape. A cabin, a wolf, a figure standing at the tree line. Jim's fingers move with surprising precision, slotting pieces into place before you even find their match. He doesn't look at the box. He doesn't need to. Funny how things fit together when you know where they belong. At one point, his knee brushes yours. He doesn't pull away. It's warm, deliberate. The puzzle glows, a wolf at the tree line, golden eyes gleaming even in the dim light. Then the figure, a silhouette standing just beyond the cabin's reach. Their hand is outstretched, holding nothing. The piece is missing. You look at the table, but there's nothing left. The figure's hand is empty, a void. That's too bad. The figure in the puzzle is holding something, a flower, a knife, but that piece is gone. You ask if he knows what it is while squinting at the missing figure's hand. Not sure. I don't remember. His thumb brushes the empty space where the piece should be, before leaning over to grab your hand. His gaze lowers to find yours, full of unspoken meaning. Guess some things stay lost. Lean into his touch. Jim exhales, ragged. His free hand rises, almost cupping your cheek before he catches himself. Knew you'd understand. Jim releases your hand. His fingers uncurl slowly as if resisting the separation. For a moment, his palm hovers like he might reach back, but then he exhales, flexing his hand as if shaking off a thought. Jim studies the puzzle, lips pressed thin, before pushing back from the table to get the puzzle's box. Maybe that missing piece will turn up later. His gaze lingers on the empty space where the last piece should be. Then he carefully gathers the incomplete puzzle and puts it back in its box. He stands stretching with forced casualness. Let's see, anything else? I'd rather just talk. Jim freezes for a beat, then laughs, a strange, breathy sound. You both go to sit by the fireplace. He sits too close, knees bumping yours. Talk, right, sure, what about? He toys with his sleeve, tugging it down as he thinks about what to say next. You ask about the carvings. Jim's shoulders relax too much as he lifts the large wolf from the mantel. He runs a thumb along the wolf's spine, where the grain splits like an old wound. Started whittling after I left home. Kept my hands busy. Funny thing, the wood carries a lot of memories. He leans in and hands it to you, pressing the carving into your palm. His fingers linger, too warm. Tell me something you remember. Doesn't matter what, something true. His thumb presses your wrist. For a second, the pulse you feel isn't yours. I remember running away once. I had a nightmare last night. I don't remember much. I had a dog like this once. Could tell him about the nightmare. Jim goes very still. The shadows behind him sway. I'm sorry about that. But dreams can just be dreams, not real. Jim's expression softens. His thumb traces your wrist like he's counting your pulse. Sometimes, though, I think dreams are doors. You ought to be careful what you invite in. He seems to catch himself, clearing his throat awkwardly. His fingers finally uncurled around your wrist as he got up. Anything else you want to do? I'll go back to my room. You mentioned heading to your room and Jim stills, thinking. His fingers tap once, sharp against his arm, then he smiles, but it doesn't reach his eyes. Tired already? He doesn't move to stop you, but as you turn, you catch his reflection in the darkened window. Guess the cold gets to folks faster than I remember. Used to it myself. His expression is raw, jaw clenched, like a man watching something precious slip through his fingers. I'll come get you when it's dinner time. Get some rest for now. Thank you. You head back to your room, for now, the door clicking closed behind you. The sound is soft, final. You sit on the edge of the bed, the weight of the day pressing into your shoulders like hands. You stare out the frost-veined glass. The storm still rages, snow piling in drifts against the pane. Your breath fogs the cold surface. Your breath evens out, fogging the glass in rhythmic pulses. Without realizing it, you trace the same looping pattern Jim uses to stir his coffee into the glass. You were feeling more accepting of your situation, or maybe resigned is a better word. The snow no longer looks threatening, just inevitable, like the turn of seasons. Think about what you've seen or try to nap. Think about what you've seen. The wind howls outside as you lie stiffly beneath the quilt, staring at the ceiling. You reflect on what you've seen today. The first day staying in the cabin with Jim. You could still picture the way the puzzle pieces had fit together under Jim's sure hands. The shadow of the cabin, the lurking wolf with its golden eyes, the figure at the tree line. But the piece it held had been missing. Now, in the quiet of your room, the memory nagged at you. He's been a surprisingly attentive host in his own way. The breakfast was hearty. He remembers the little things, the way you take your coffee. Yeah, I honestly think he put something in my food, but I guess not. There's something almost comforting in the way he moves, like he's memorized the shape of this solitude and simply let you step inside it. Jim's still careful with his words and still watches you a little too closely, but there's no denying it, you've gotten closer today. The shadows stretch across your room and you begin to wonder if it's evening time yet. Jim hasn't come to get you, but the hunger in your stomach pulls you out of bed. When you get up, you notice the door is slightly ajar. You could have sworn that you had closed it. The storm has trapped you both inside for another day. The wind howls through the cracks in the cabin walls, but Jim seems almost content. He sits at the table, a small knife in hand, whittling away at a block of oak. His movements are careful and precise, like a man performing a sacred rite. He doesn't look at you, but you catch the way his fingers linger over the wood, shaping it with something like Reverence. What are you making? Jim jolts to your presence and nearly nicks himself. Oops, I'm sorry. Angel, I didn't realize you were there. Oh, it's a bunny! It's a carving of a rabbit. A small, fragile thing, ears folded back, body coiled as if it's ready to flee. When the carving is finished, Jim hesitates. His thumb brushes over the creature's back, passing over its form. With a twitch of his lip, he seems to decide to pick up his knife again and whittles away quickly. He carves a small hole through its heart, threads it onto a leather cord, and ties it around your neck without asking. Oh my god, that's it. That's all you had to do. That is so cute. His fingers linger too long on your pulse, which jumps at his touch. So, you remember? His voice is a gentle murmur with something dangerously close to tenderness. Even when I'm not around. Aww. As if you would break it. What cold-hearted person would do that? Accept it and wear it. You trace the carving with your fingertips and you want it around your throat. Your hand slowly curls around the necklace that Jim placed on you with acceptance. The first thing you notice is that the cord around your neck is tight, a collar disguised as jewelry. The thin leather knotted snug around your throat is not enough to choke, but enough that you always feel it there. The wood is smooth, almost too delicate, but it might splinter if gripped too hard. Jim's eyes burn in the dim light at the sight of you. Breath shallow. Oh my lord. I knew it would suit you. He shifts closer, his knee brushing yours as he reaches out to adjust the carving. His touch lingers, warm, calloused fingers tracing the curve of the carving's back alongside your skin. Fits you better than I thought it would. There's a weight to the words, something deeper than just the carving. He starts pacing around the room, looking at the fire, peering at the walls. He's stalling. You can tell by the way his shoulders stay tense, the way his gaze keeps flicking back to you. Finally, he exhales, running a hand through his hair. I'll have to make you more things if you like it. When he starts to retreat to his room, his steps are lighter than usual. I'll see you soon. Night. He strides into his room without another word. With nothing else to do, you also head back to your room. The bed creaks as you settle in, the blankets too stiff, the air too still. You try to sleep, but it comes in shallow waves. Each time you start to drift to sleep, the shadows at the edges of the room seem to shift just slightly. A thud, a muffled curse, the creak of the floorboards bearing weight. The cabin is too quiet for the sound to be anything but deliberate. You sit up. A slither of light bleeds under your door. Someone's still awake. You are drawn to the noise and venture out of your room. Night falls heavy over the cabin, the fire reduced to embers. The wind has quieted, but the silence is worse, thick with unsaid words. Jim stands by the window, his back to you, fingers absently tracing the edge of the wood carving knife. You can see the tension in his shoulders, the way his breath fogs the glass in the uneven bursts. He knows you're watching. He always knows. Jim? A shudder runs through him when you call out to him. For a long moment he doesn't move. Then, slowly, he sets the carving knife away and turns to face you. When Jim turns to face you, the moonlight paints his face in blue and shadow, his eyes dark and unreadable. There's something raw in his expression, something hungry and hesitant all at once. Couldn't sleep. But you should be asleep. His voice is rough and raw. I heard you were awake. Then I'm sorry for bothering you. The air between you is charged electric. He swallows hard, his gaze flickering to your lips, then away, like he's afraid of what he might do if he looks too long. Step forward slowly. Jim hesitates, his hand hovering near your face like he's afraid to touch you. When you lean in, he lets out a shaky breath, his fingers finally brushing your cheek. The kiss is soft, almost tentative. A question, not a demand. His lips are chapped from the cold, but warm, so warm. When he pulls back, his eyes are wide, vulnerable. I didn't... You kiss him again, and this time he whimpers against your mouth, his hands trembling where they cradle your face. Jim avoids your eyes afterwards, his ears red. He touches his lips like he's trying to memorize the feeling. Jim suddenly pulls away from you, like he's been touched by fire. I have to go. He begins grabbing his heavy winter clothes and heads for the door. You reach out to him, but he gives you a dangerous look. Don't follow me. He leaves the cabin, the door slamming behind him. The door clicks shut behind him and there's a beat of silence. Then the unmistakable click of a lock engaging. He locked me in? Look out the window. Through the window you see Jim's retreating figure, his shoulders hunched against the wind and snow. It looks like he's holding something. He doesn't look back. Oh, do I follow him? But if the door's locked, it's locked, I can't get out. Look at the door. It's a double-sided deadbolt. Jim has locked you in the cabin for the night. Well, how am I supposed to follow him then? Follow him. You're reaching for the door before you realize that the handle is cold under your palm, the metal biting into your skin as you twist it. It doesn't budge. Pound on the door. You rattle it harder, throwing your weight against the wood. Nothing. The door doesn't even shake in its frame. It's solid, stubborn, like the trees outside that have spent decades digging their roots into the deep earth. I guess I'll go back to bed. That was very rude of you. Rejection. You hear a distant axe hitting wood outside, over and over. Okay. The night stretches on, and Jim's touch lingers like a brand. And Jim seems to have no intention of returning tonight. With nothing else to do, you head back to your room. You lay back down in your bed, filled with thoughts of Jim, but your eyes grow heavy with sleep. The storm murmurs against the windows, a lullaby of wind and creaking wood. You drift into sleep and the dream comes like a whisper. You stand in a cathedral of snow-laden trees, their branches clawing at a sky as deep as oblivion. The air smells of frost and something older, moss, blood, burnt sugar. The carving around your neck tightens and drives you forward. Before you is bare earth, the ground twitches where your shadow falls. You feel something between your teeth, and when you pick it out, a white flower moist from your insides, silver veins throb mockingly at you. You don't recall their name, yet your tongue forms the shape of it anyway. Moon petals. Is that what they're called? How do you know? There are wolf tracks, deep, deliberate. They lead you forward without a choice, the trees seemingly curving into you and pulling you in. Something moves in the dark. Not a wolf, not a man, a shape with too many joints, its shadows stretching farther than the light should allow. And those eyes, they glow impossibly bright, drinking up the shadows. A voice hums. Jim's voice? No, deeper. It curls through the trees in fragments. What do you have, rabbit? Your palm grows heavy. You unclench your fist to reveal. It's a moon petal, now fully bloomed. Its center is a perfect black pupil. Its mouth doesn't move. The words bloom from behind your ribs. The cage is beautiful because it was built just for you. Won't you sing for him? The figure laughs and the sound is Jim's warped delight. Stay a little longer. I've been starved for you for so long. Thanks for playing day 2. Let me know what you think so far. Oh, that was it. I need to know more, thank you. I've gotten this far. Is he a wolf? There's some weird thing going on with this dude. I don't know. Well, I will keep you guys updated because obviously there will be more days that come out. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, please leave a like and subscribe. My throat is so dry after reading all of that. I have been sipping water, so I'm fine. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Bye.